Hi there everyone, welcome to Irony Point. In this video, I'm going to discuss about the interview process for the position of a cloud support engineer in AWS. So there are four rounds of interview and it starts with assessment followed by the networking, then we have operating system and finally we have two manager rounds. So in this video, I'm going to discuss about the networking part. Since I recently appeared in an interview, so I'll give you the comprehensive understanding of what the questions I was asked and what kind of like questions you will be expecting for your interview. So let's get started. So for the networking part, they will ask you logical questions. So they will not ask you direct questions. It will be purely based on the concept understanding. So they will give you some scenarios and you have to resolve those scenarios. So the first question that I got was they give me one scenario where I was given one diagram, and we have PC1 in one network, and we have PC2 in another network. So the challenge here was to ping from PC1 to PC2, and they also provided me some IP addresses, and also the RF table was empty. You can do probing as well. You can ask for MAC table, routing table as well. So here you have to explain the packet flow from PC1 to PC2. So you have to explain by header wise. Like for example, ICMP packet is initiated, then that packet remains hold till RF is resolved. So you had to explain them step by step. After that, the second question that I got was the now I have a domain name, for example, google.com or example.com, and when we are trying to access that, we are getting error. This site can't be reached. Server DNS address could not be found. So here they are checking your troubleshooting skills. They will check your approach towards the troubleshooting. How do you start? So since it's related to the DNS, so you have to explain the whole DNS flow. And also expected the sub questions as well, like what is difference between iterative and recursive query? What is TTL value? What is cache? What is host file? So make sure that you prepare DNS very well. The third question is now the browser has got the IP address. What what will happen now? How browser loads the website? So this means that when we are accessing a web page, let's suppose Amazon.com. So it gets loaded in our browser. So what happens in the background, which means like how CSOM tree is created, how DOM tree is created, and what is the functionality and role of the JavaScript here. So make sure you have the basic understanding of this DOM and CSOM tree. The fourth question is the website you are trying to access is taking too much time to load. So this is related to the latency issue. So basically, they want to understand that if you have resolved any issue where you had the latency issue. So they will give some extra details as well, like internet connection is good, and we tried from different machines and in different browsers as well. The fifth question is most important part of networking, that is TCP. We started with the TCP windowing, what is TCP scaling factor, how window size is calculated. Sixth question is what is MSS? What is the core difference between MSS and window size? MSS is the largest size of data that can be processed, while window size is the size of receiver buffer. The seventh question is what are different types of control flags in TCP? When do we use push flag and when do we use urgent flag? Give one example for both. So make sure that you go through all the flags in ACK, push, reset, CWR, that is congestion window reduce, and urgent and push flag, and also fin flag. So and keep one example ready for each of the flag. The eighth question is, what is TCP time wait timer? Explain example to illustrate it. So first they asked me what are different timers in TCP, and then they asked me to explain the TCP time wait timer. Ninth question is how TCP handles congestion. So when there is congestion in the network, what is the approach of the TCP protocol? So you have to explain the algorithms or which TCP uses to handle the congestion. Tenth question is, can we host multiple websites on the same IP address and port number? If so, how do we do this? So basically, this question is related to the SNI concept. And once you get this, like this is related to SNI, and you have to explain them at which point it is shared between the client and server. So it is shared in SSL handshake in client hello option sections. Then comes another important part of the networking, that is TLS handshake. So they'll not go and tell you to explain the TLS handshake in detail. For my case, they asked me to go through the first explain the handshake process. Then they asked me all the cryptographic algorithms that are being shared between client and server. And also they told me to explain what is digital certificate, how that digital certificate is verified by the client, what are the different methods of verifying the digital certificate, and also difference between digital certificate and PSK. PSK is pre-shared key. The 12th question is describe one scenario when you use MTR and IPERF. So basically, in your previous organization, if you have worked on these, if you are using these concepts MTR and IPERF, you have to mention that. So, or you can make one scenario where you will explain the functionalities of network utilities, that is MTR and IPERF. The 13th question is you connected your PC to office network and you got an IP address. How does this work in backend? So basically, this is related to the DHCP concept. So you have to explain the DORA process. They may also ask the difference between static IP configuration and DHCP, dynamic IP configuration. The 14th question is, it was scenario based, and the question is like this: a small office has single public IP address and a private network with IP address in the range 10.0.0.0/24. Multiple users need to access the internet simultaneously. Is it possible? If so, explain. So basically, this concept is related to the NAT. So make sure that you have a comprehensive understanding of the NATing. The 15th question is again scenario. A server A with IP address 192.168.1.2 is reassigned a new IP address 192.168.1.3. To ensure that other devices on the network update their RF caches, server A sends a gratuitous RF packet. Explain the packet flow. So basically, this concept is related to RF, and here you have to explain the gratuitous RF. So in gratuitous RF, we have the sender IP and target IP same. So they may also ask you that they may give you PCAP file, and you have to show them the different parameters in the uh, gratuitous RF. Question 16 is also scenario based. Here, the client A needs to transmit a large file to server B across a network. The network path includes three routers with varying MTU size. Router 1 with MTU 1500 bytes, router 2 with MTU 1400 bytes, router 3 with MTU 1200 bytes. Client A initiates the file transfer by sending a packet with a 1500 byte payload. Now, the challenge here is as the packet traverses the network, it encounters routers with progressively smaller MTUs. How would you handle this situation? So basically, this is the concept related to the path MTU. So make sure that you understand the path MTU. Uh, and they may also, it's not like that they will give you this question. They may change the MTU values, and make sure that you understand the concept of fragmentation as well. So this question is related to question number 17. It is related to IPsec. So here they have basically two branch offices, branch A and branch B, and A has the internal network as 10.1.0/24 and B has 10.2.2.0/24. The company A wants to securely connect these two networks with the internet. So you have to explain the IPsec, that how you can establish a tunnel, and they may also ask you follow-up questions like what is man mode and aggressive mode, what is the difference between them, and what are the different messages that are being exchanged. The final question that they asked it was about what do you know about BGP protocols? So I don't think they asked most of the routing, but they wanted to make sure I know the basics of the routing. So you can expect one question from the routing as well. So, and these are the questions that they asked in the interview, and you can prepare according to this and make sure that you do not rely on these questions. This is just a pattern they followed in my case. You may get different questions, but the pattern will remain same. So the scenario based, and they will not ask you direct questions. Make sure that you have a comprehensive understanding of these topics.